La mesa libre.
Sí, sí, sí.
No puedo, tío. Está el tipo de novedad en directo.
Es mentira, es mentira.
Iñaki está aquí.
Estoy aquí. Veo mi nombre y no me gusta.
No está aquí Iñaki. ¿Quieres pasar?
¿Quién es?
Coming now.
Sorry, two questions on our side. Okay, no, finally, sorry.
One question for each, one turn. For
Sí, eso sí.
If one journalist addresses one question to each of them, that could be okay. One journalist, one journalist. One turn.
Thank you.
So there'll be a short break and then we will say a few words. Dear Prime Minister, a warm welcome to Denmark and to Marienborg today. I'm very glad to welcome you to Denmark. We have a very close cooperation, Spain and Denmark. And in many different agendas and issues, we share many of the same values. Of course, tonight the war in Ukraine will be our main topic. We have been, from the very beginning of the war, actually, the two of us and our two countries, very aligned. We need to ensure and to make sure that Ukraine will win this war. And I think we have had the same opinion since the beginning of the war, that Ukraine can only win this war if the rest of us helps Ukraine as much as possible. So, of course, Ukraine is in our mind and hearts, and it will be on the top of the agenda tonight. How can we help them even more? Secondly, I think what we see all over Europe today is that all the crises meet each other. So when there is war on our continent, our populations feel it because of inflation and energy prices. So we have to continue and we have to speed up the green transition. And therefore, I'm very happy that we today have signed an agreement on a green transition. And I think as two very progressive countries, we can work even closer together. And now the Spanish presidency is coming closer to us. So I'm looking forward to hear your plans, and we will do what we can from a Danish perspective to support Spain. So once again, welcome.
Thank you very much, Mette. Thank you for your friendship, and also thank you for your hospitality. As you said before, we are two governments very aligned on many topics, not only the green transition, but also gender equality. We were last April in Kyiv with President Zelensky, showing him the support of our societies and our governments, and of course the unity of all member states and the European Union with Ukraine in his fight against autocracy. And as you mentioned before, we will have the Spanish presidency of the European Union second semester of the year. And I'm here also to listen from the Danish government which are their priorities in order to incorporate in our goals for this second semester of the year. I do believe that this presidency will be very important. First, because we are obliged to close and to reach agreements on many important files. Migration and Asylum Pact, but also how do we respond to the war in Ukraine? How do we support President Zelensky and his government and his country? How do we strengthen our alliance with other regions? That is why we are very excited with the summit that we will convene in next July in Brussels with the Latin American countries, a region that is very close to Spain, but I think is strategic also for the European Union. But also North Africa, the Mediterranean countries. We are hoping to convene another summit by the end of the year and trying to build up altogether a positive agenda in order to create economic opportunities, economic development, and also to fight against smugglers and irregular migration. And last but not least, I do believe that this presidency could be a very important one in order to establish concrete rules and policies to increase the European competitiveness. Prime Minister Mette knows quite well that we've been from Spain very vocal in the need to reform the electric market, in the need to advance on a common platform in order to purchase gas from third countries, and also in order to speed up the process of the green transition. So there are many files that needs to be closed before the end of the year, because next year we will have European elections, and that is why I'm very grateful to be here, and also very grateful for the Danish government to help us in order to reach these very important agreements, not for the European Union as an abstract, but for the European citizens, which at the end of the day is our main priority. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And now we will open the floor.
Yeah, good evening, Prime Ministers. My name is Iñaki Aguado from Mediaset España, and on behalf of all the Spanish journalists here today, on this tour you are claiming for strengthening the single European market. The question to both of you is, to what an extent do you think you have to foster tax harmonization so that we don't see cases like the Spanish company Ferrovial moving from Spain to the Netherlands? In particular, Prime Minister Sánchez, I would like to listen to your analysis on this issue, and if you're so kind, I would like to switch to Spanish.
It's okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Presidente Sánchez, también le quiero preguntar sobre el caso de presunta corrupción del mediador. Me gustaría preguntarle cómo piensa facilitar la investigación de este presunto caso de corrupción y qué coste electoral piensa que puede acarrearle a usted. Gracias.
Yes.
I will answer in Spanish to both questions. First one, sobre este anuncio de la compañía Ferrovial. En primer lugar, desde el Gobierno de España lo que vamos a hacer es, evidentemente, como no puede ser de otra manera, seguir la situación, ver exactamente que el anuncio que se ha hecho por parte de esta compañía pues, corresponde con la legalidad. Y, en segundo lugar, sí me gustaría hacer una reflexión más general. Y la reflexión es la siguiente. Yo creo que los empresarios juegan un papel muy importante en nuestra sociedad. Lo juegan y así lo ha reconocido además el Gobierno de España en momentos muy difíciles como es la pandemia y ahora también la guerra, con los ERTEs, con los mecanismos de ICO, que al final lo que han permitido es no solamente superar la peor emergencia sanitaria y ahora también una situación tan difícil como esta, sino hasta incluso poder aumentar su actividad económica en estos complejos años. Por tanto, juegan un papel muy importante en nuestra sociedad. Creo que los empresarios también tienen una enorme responsabilidad social en la sociedad en la que nacen y desarrollan toda su acción. Y creo que además en España hay ejemplos extraordinariamente positivos de grandes empresarios comprometidos con su país. Desde luego, tras este anuncio, creo que no es el caso del señor del Pino. Y en relación con la segunda de las preguntas, lo diré claramente. Cuando hay una acción por parte de un responsable político que no corresponde con los estándares de ejemplaridad que se le exige por parte del Partido Socialista, la acción es clara, es rotunda, es inmediata. Es expulsión del partido y retirada del escaño. Y me gustaría que el resto de partidos políticos hicieran lo propio.
Danish media.
I would like to ask you, what exact issues are you going to work together on in the coming presidency? What would you, Mr. Sanchez, want from Denmark, and what does Denmark want Spain to focus on during the presidency?
So from our side, I think that the most important one is how do we respond to this energy crisis and the inflation. And fortunately, we're very aligned because today we have signed a memorandum of understanding on the green transition. And this is the path. I think the way to respond to this energy crisis and the climate change crisis is the green transition. Fortunately, not only both governments but also private companies such as Maersk has already announced a very important investment in Spain and also in Denmark in order to accelerate the green transition in very important sectors such as the maritime transport.
I totally agree with Sanchez on the importance of the green agenda and that we need to use your presidency to speed the European integration and cooperation on energy security and green transition in general. And then I would like to add, I think we need a stronger cooperation on defense, because what we see now is that we are, all of us, donating a lot to Ukraine, and we will continue to do so, but we need to work closer together also when it comes to the future. And then thirdly, staying united. Our unity has been one of the strongest weapons with this terrible war and situation in Ukraine. So I think what we need from the Spanish presidency, and I'm very sure that you will show us, is to stay united and to be able to support Ukraine the way we have supported them for now a year. So the green transition and the war in Ukraine is the two, I think, main topics, but they meet each other and the effects all of our population. So, yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Gracias.
Claro, o sea, no sabía que se le... Si no sabía si le iba a decir al final o...